We will have a movie review once we don't have the noise of this freight train. Finally, here's a Drafthouse Diary for Sunday, July 21st, 2024. And the first thing I have to say is that director Lee Isaac Chung knows what he's doing. I came out here once again to the Littleton Aspen Grove Alamo Drafthouse to see Twisters. But first, let's take a brief trip back to 1996. A movie one letter short of this called Twister. And I found that movie an incredibly frustrating experience. It had interesting ideas, not a bad story structure, story arc, and yet it was made so sloppily. Slapdash editing, laughable continuity, cartoonish characters, and it had a screenplay that was at times just muddled and at times maudlin. A few ingratiating performances, but that was not enough to save the movie. So I find that movie 2/4 unwatchable and 1/4 enraging. But now, almost 30 years later, we've got not really quite a sequel. I'll get to that in a moment. We've got a new movie called Twisters. And this was outstanding. It is connected to the first movie very tenuously. There is one little rivet, one literal piece of hardware I won't give away, that does connect it and demonstrate that it is part of the same universe, set 30 years later. And it manages to put together a disaster movie where it's not just about reacting to the disaster, it's about doing something about the disaster. It is conflict without focusing on how bad the bad guys are, and it avoids the cartoonishness of the conflict and the bad guys in the original Twister. And some really good performances. We've got Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell and Anthony Ramos. Glenn Powell, it's been interesting to see him. He's somebody who's just been on the edge of really being a movie star for quite some time, and I think this might be his year. So I'm going to go back and see whatever movies of his I have not seen. But he was terrific in small roles like John Glenn in Hidden Figures. He was very good in a larger role in a smaller, lesser-known movie like Devotion. I haven't seen him yet in Top Gun Maverick, but I'm definitely going to fill in that gap. And Anthony Ramos, he was the best thing in the middle-of-the-road Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts. So a good cast leading a very good ensemble. The parts of the movie just come together very well. We've got conflict, we've got science. I have no idea if this science is accurate, but it's accurate enough for a movie. It brings us in, it gives us some foundation to stand on. And it establishes for us, in the context of the movie, the expertise of the characters. So Twisters pulls it all together. Very enjoyable movie. Highly recommend it. Other parts of my trip to the Alamo. The pre-show was crafted for this feature, and it had an interesting combination. We had National Weather Service information films about storm readiness and about tornadoes. We had a lot of trailers for disaster movies like Earthquake, like Volcano. I don't think we had anything from the original Twister, which I think is a good thing. We had a Three Little Pigs cartoon, we had a Wizard of Oz cartoon, and all of these, of course, connect into this movie. An enjoyably bad performance from Top of the Pops of a disco version of Sing It in the Rain. Overall, a good pre-show for this movie. We did get some food at this visit. It was a brunch screening, so we had access to the brunch menu. I got the potato, egg, and cheese tacos. I haven't had those before. I had previously had the bacon, egg, and cheese. The potato was an interesting change, and I liked it. My darling wife had the Alamo Bowl with grilled chicken added. That's from their regular menu, which is available during brunch screenings, and she enjoyed that very much as well. We also had coffee. This may be no surprise to anyone, but the coffee is better when you get it in the morning at a brunch screening than when you get it at 10:30 at night. And because of that, I drank way too much coffee, if there is such a thing. I also had the habanero Bloody Mary, which wasn't as spicy as I expected. That seems to be my refrain when I order something spicy here at the Alamo. But it was still very good. A lot of nice flavor in that. And they didn't pack the top of the Bloody Mary with a ridiculous number of garnishes. It was just right. The service and the way the theater was run, a little bit iffy. We arrived about 40 minutes before showtime, and it was 28 or 29 minutes before showtime. They were already into the pre-show when we were allowed into the front doors. The whole theater was closed when we got there. And the food service, the servers were very friendly. I know they were working hard. It was a very full screening, first screening of the day. But we weren't served water until 20 minutes after we had ordered. We had already gotten our food before they were serving water. The coffee took a while, but that's probably because they were brewing it, which made it hot and good. In general, I think they could be a little more organized when it comes to food service, especially when they know they have got a full house for a brunch screening. I hope you enjoyed this Drafthouse Diary. If you did, please click that like button. And if you want to make sure you get more of these as they come out, click the subscribe button and that bell notification button. It's no charge to you, and it helps out the channel. But for now, looking out past the camera, I see some storm clouds, so I'm going to go and drive away from them. But I will be back with more. In the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits.